What's up? What's up? What's up, family? Can y'all hear me? I'm about to start this presentation. So, um, give me about 10 minutes. 10. What is it? 3:48. Give me about. Give me till. I'm sorry. 5:48. Give me till 6:05 at the latest. Kevin Means, excuse me. The topic is this is the ADOS Chcago orientation, meaning we're going to talk to you about what ADOS is, what we do, how you can get involved, etc., etc. So, and I hate saying etc., etc., but so on and so forth. Hey, Kevin. So we have a church that we meet at, and again, I'm going to get this presentation started in a sec. And type yes in the chat, Kevin, if you can hear me or anybody else. But we have a church we meet at, church building 8100 South Dante, but because in Chcago, Illinois. But because of the pandemic, we very rarely meet there. So so for now, we meet virtually here online, and we have a couple of online places where we meet. So you can join us. You can either inbox myself here on YouTube or Facebook, or you can go to our website, adoschcago.org, and you can reach us through that website. You can contact us there, and somebody will reach back out to you ASAP. And do me a favor, Kevin, and share this live for me if you could, sir. Share it, text it out, share it on your Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, etc. And are you in Illinois, Kevin? So you'd have to be in Illinois to join us. If not, we can get you connected to a chapter where you're at. Thank you, Kevin. Appreciate the share. So we're going to get started here in 10 minutes. Let me test out a couple things here. Let me share it as well. I need to figure out how to play some intermission music while we wait. So again, it's 5:50. Give me to 6 o'clock. We'll get started. But while we're getting started, y'all can ask any questions or whatever you want inside the chat, and I'll answer them if I can. Okay, cool. You're in Chicago. Cool, man. So we'll definitely link up. If you're on Facebook, shoot me a DM in Facebook. And matter of fact, let me give you my email address. You can you can DM me and email me, and I will give you a call. So my email is marlon@adoschcago.org. So Facebook me, DM me, or email me, and I'll reach out to you, man. So for those just getting on here, we're going to get started in about 8 minutes. We test out a couple things. So share the live if you could. We'd appreciate it. And if you have any questions in the interim, go ahead and let us know what you want to know about, and we will do what we can to get those questions answered for you. And I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. It's kind of chilly out if you're in Chicago. Summer and spring and fall. Summer and spring are definitely over, and fall is here. It was about 50 degrees outside today. No, shoot, it was about 40 degrees outside today. And we actually did a press conference. We did a press conference today in front of the governor's office downtown. So it may have aired already on WGN Channel 9. I know they have a 5 o'clock show and a 9 o'clock show. So If you watch WGN, if you watch the news, watch Channel 9 or WGN, and you may see us at our press conference. So if you're in Chicago and you watch WGN, you may see us at our press conference we did today, talking about our executive order we're trying to get passed here. We're trying to get an executive order signed, the Rapid Relief Executive Order for Black Illinois citizens, and which does a bunch of things. One, it makes violence and a health crisis in the state of Illinois, which gives us resources to deal with the issue. So again, check out Channel 9 if you're in Chicago, and you may see us at our press conference today. And yes, Mitzi, yes, today is a weird day. 100% agreed. But share this live for us, Mitzi. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Lionel Riley, what's up, bro? Oh, yeah, so you're going to rub it in, huh? 82 degrees in New Orleans. Yeah, I want to hear that. It's like 40 degrees in Chicago, man. It was freezing outside at this press conference. But I see you out there in New Orleans, man, doing your thing. You are doing your thing, bro. Much respect to you. Much respect to New Orleans ADOS. And brother Lionel Riley, my man. Share this live for us, Lionel, if you could, on Facebook and what have you. So we're going to get started here in just a moment. We're going to get it rocking. So don't fret. And I'm setting up my presentation, so if you're just joining, hang in there. We're going to get started in about 5 minutes. All right? Hang in there. And if you're in the chat, let us know what city you're from. If you're in Illinois, or what state you're from. If you're in Illinois, in New Orleans with the brother Lionel, let us know where you're from. Kevin Means, absolutely. Absolutely. There is a strategic plan to create a voting block, 100%. So when you link up with us here in Chicago, we're going to get you in tune with that plan. And you can help us implement it, brother. So that definitely exists. Hey, Diane, what's up, Diane Scott? What's up, sister? Hey, Diane, just want to let you know, and anybody in here who's listening that's in Illinois, I know we got a few folks that that are in the chapter, and some are just acquainted with the chapter. But we are doing a national ADOS chapter thing with Yvette Carnell and Antonio Moore, the co-founders. And so if you're in Illinois or Chicago and you know about the chapter and you've been acquainted with the chapter but may not necessarily be in the chapter, hit us up. You see my email right there on the screen. Hit us up, and we want to get you officially associated with ADOS Chcago. I'm gonna get you to pay your membership due. Ain't much, I know we ADOS, so we ain't got much. I want to get you to pay your little membership due and get your ADOS Chcago certificate. And we have a curricula and all that stuff you can go through, but most of us are kind of already super familiar with each other, so it won't be so necessary, but we can still get that for you. And we want you to be official, because in a minute, it's all going to be official. We're going to have ADOS chapters with charters and all that. So we've taken it to another level. So again, if you're in here and you're in the city of Chicago or the state of Illinois, and you know about ADOS Chcago, you're kind of acquainted with this, but you have no official way to say you're ADOS Chcago, email me right here at this email address, marlon@adoschicago.org, and we will get you hooked up. Let me mess with my brother Lionel. You telling me it's 82 degrees in New Orleans. I'm putting you on blast, brother. You trying to rub it in, man. It's 40 degrees out here, man. I got you on the screen, bro. I got your comment up there. You messing with us northern folks. Man, it's 40 degrees out here, man. All right, let me try to get this thing set up here. Ah, shoot, I forgot to share. Give me a second, y'all. Let me share it with a couple of folks, and then I'll get started. Give me a second here, and we're going to jump it off. Give me a couple seconds, y'all. I'm sharing it with a couple of friends that wanted to know about it. So, hold on. Finna get started, guys. Finna share it to one more person. All right. Let me share my screen here. Okay. Give me a second. All right. Can y'all see my screen? Let me know if you can see my screen. Let me know if you can see my screen. We're gonna get this thing jumping. Matter of fact, let me go to my Facebook page and see if I can see my screen instead of asking y'all. Nisi, Laura, the yearly membership fee is $50. Well, it's actually $500, but for you it's $50. We're gonna give you a discount. No, it's $50 for everybody, Nisi. So let's get you in, man. Let's get you hooked up, because when we get this national thing jumping off, I don't want you to miss out. I want you to be right there. You was right there when the first ADOS national org jumped off. So shoot me an email. We can get you set up, okay? And all y'all on Facebook, if you hadn't already, share this live, the ADOS Chcago orientation. And if you're on YouTube, Twitter, share it for us as well. And all right, I don't know why people be texting me while I'm doing the presentation. All right, so thank you for joining us. My name is Marlon Watson, and I'm the president of ADOS Chcago, and this is the ADOS Chcago orientation. So thank you guys for joining us. It's about an hour, 10, 15 minutes, something like that. And you could be anywhere else, but you are here trying to see what ADOS and ADOS Chcago is. So I want to thank you for that. Personally, I want to thank you for that. And so this is what we're going to be covering. We're going to cover what is ADOS. May have heard of it, some may have not. And we want you to know what that is. We're going to cover that. Where are we? Where are we economically? How did it happen? And reparations. And what is advocacy? And my bullet points came in out of order. So let me read them in order. We're going to be covering what is ADOS, what is advocacy, where are we economically, how did this happen, and the crescendo reparations. So we got a few ground rules. We generally do this in person. Well, this is in person, but we generally do it in in libraries and churches and things like that. But because of COVID, we are limited in how we can meet, so we do it virtually. But when we were meeting in actual facilities, we had a few ground rules. One of the ground rules was hold all questions till the end, but this is a little bit different of a format, so you can ask your questions right now. If I can get to them while I'm presenting, I'll answer them. If not, someone in the chat that maybe in our chapter can answer the questions for you. Arthur Ward or our Vice President, Cynthia McDonald, our Secretary General, or some of the folks who are ADOS but may not be here in the city of Chicago. I see my brother Lionel Riley is in here, Nigel Cook, a couple of folks. So if you have questions and I can't get to them or the ADOS Chicago folks can't, I'm sure somebody will be able to answer the question for you. So you don't have to hold your questions to the end. Go ahead and ask away. Second ground rule, no curse words. When we say no curse words, we're not talking about what you would consider typical curse words. And give me a second. Let me cut my light on here. It's getting a little dark in here. All right. So second ground rule is no curse words. And when we say no curse words, we're not talking about what you would consider typical curse words. We have a set of words that we restrict in ADOS circles. And if you use these words, you better have a real good reason, because we're going to get you. If you don't, we're going to get you. First word, minority. We don't let you call us minority. We have a problem with that, particularly when we're talking to politicians. That's not specific enough. It used to be talking about us, but now it's, they don't put everybody in the minority space. They don't put, white women and gay folk and everybody. Everybody's a minority except for a white dude, unless you're gay. I think gay white men are minorities too now. So we restrict that term. We want specificity. We want you to talk directly to us. So we restrict that. That's a curse word. Another curse word, diversity. Sounds good. Sounds like it's an amazing, awesome, nice little sweet thing, but we understand the problem behind it. So we restrict that word too. Black and brown. Now, there's nothing wrong with black, and there isn't anything necessarily wrong with brown. But when you put them together, we start to feel away. Okay? So, and the reason for that is we want you to speak to us. We are a people that come from a very particular experience. And we need that experience spoken to directly, so we can help solve some of the issues that experience has created in our community. So that's one of the reasons when we're talking to people, they say, oh, the black and brown. Listen, we ain't got no problem with black. We ain't got no problem with brown. Just speak to us directly, okay? Get us where we are whole, and then we can talk about some other stuff. But in the meantime, we restrict that phrase. Another word or phrase we restrict, people of color. People of color sounds nice and innocent. But, I don't know if y'all saw the Ice Cube interviews lately. And we've been saying this since day one, that we aren't people of color. We're a peculiar group. And Ice Cube was on an interview with Cuomo. Almost forgot his name. And he did an interview with Antonio Moore, our co-founder, and they spoke about not wanting to be called a person of color, but speak to us directly. So we restrict people of color. We restrict women of color. I know that's a big popular one today, but we don't play that. When you talk to our folk, you got to call them by their name. And women of color ain't it. Now it used to be, because women of color used to be something, and people of color used to be just us. but then they came and, crowbarred everybody else into that space, and so it dilutes what is that phrase was supposed to mean. So we restrict that. We need you to talk directly to us. Talk to us nice. And so those are the restricted words. And the reason we restrict those words, as I just talked about, and this is, I guess, a definitional way to explain it, is because of benign neglect. If you are a political novice, you're familiar with benign neglect. It's an attitude or policy of ignoring an often delicate or undesirable situation that one is held to be responsible for dealing with. Those phrases are benign neglect to us. America has to deal with what they have done to black folks in this country, and those black folks who built this country particularly. And when you start saying those black folks are people of color and they're minorities and they're diversity and all this kind of stuff, that's kind of a benign way to neglect us. It ain't mean, it ain't harsh, it ain't nasty. It's all nice and sweet, but it's neglectful. They say, oh, diversity. We're about diversity. And when you go to Silicon Valley or to the tech sector, they say, we're about diversity. And diversity to them means non-white men, but Asian men. Well, okay, Asian men can work in America. That's cool. I got no problem with that. But if you're talking about diversity, that should be something that is directly a direct benefit to us. But it so often is not. But they give us that as a way to placate us and as a way to dilute what they should be doing for us. But ultimately, everybody else gets crowbarred into those spaces. And again, they just do it nice and sweet, and it's not mean. They ain't got to call you an N-word. They ain't got to call you nothing. They just say, oh, diversity. All right. So benign neglect, that's kind of what benign neglect, well, that's what those terms are to us, benign neglect. Another way to explain those terms is a process called, or a strategy called the Southern Strategy. And I'm going to play a clip here in a second. Lee Atwater is a Reagan political strategist. And I'm going to click this play button, and he's going to tell you what the Southern Strategy is. And let me know if y'all can hear this in the chat.
Here's how I would put it as a statistician, or no, as a psychologist, which I'm not, is how abstract you handle the wasteland. In other words, you start out, and I don't want to quote this. You start out in 1954, let's say, by 1968, you keep saying when that hurt you back first, so you say stuff like, force plus states' rights and all that stuff. And you get so abstract now, you're talking about cutting taxes and all of these things you're talking about are totally economic things. And the byproduct of that is blacks get hurt worse than whites. And subconsciously, maybe that is more of a thing. But I'm saying that if it is getting that abstract and that code stuff, that we're doing away with the racial problem one way or the other. You follow me? Because obviously sitting around saying, we want to cut taxes, we want to cut this, is much more abstract than even the busing thing. And the Chcago is more abstract than that. So any way you look at it, race is coming on the back line.
All right, so a few people told me that was low volume, and I see some folks in here. My sister Cody and my brother Nehemiah from Arkansas. That's where my dad is from. So we might be some kin. Thank you guys for joining. Living Life. What up, fam? How you doing? Brian Smith. What's going on? Thank y'all for joining. Miss Johnson. Thank y'all for joining. And so that was a clip. I got to fix that clip. It was played a little low, apparently. But that was Lee Atwater. And what he was basically talking about was the Southern Strategy. And you can go to YouTube, type in the search bar, Lee Atwater Southern Strategy, and this clip will pull up. Basically, what he was saying was, it got to the point where in America you couldn't say nigger, 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 and he said that. He said you couldn't say nigger, nigger, nigger. You couldn't be just mean and nasty to black folk anymore. You had to kind of codify it, and you had to put it in code where people wouldn't know, rather. So you had to say words like force busing and conservatism and states' rights, and even though those terms sometimes affected in a negative way some poor white people, it mostly affected us. So they were willing to give a few sacrifices in order to catch the bulk of us. And so the Southern strategy were just abstract words and ways to harm black folk without being direct and nasty about it. And we look at those terms as the same way. People of color, minority, diversity, women of color, BIPOC. I got to put BIPOC on there. BIPOC is a new term they came out with. I think is Black Indigenous People of Color, some crazy term. And terms like that. We need terms. If it's an unspecific term and it's not straight to the point, it's not talking directly to us, then it's a problem. And again, just like the Southern strategy was, abstract in the way they talk to us, and the benign neglect was as well. We see those terms as problems in those senses. So that's why we restrict them. That's why we restrict those terms. And so those are the ground rules. No curse words. You can't cuss. All right? Cuss words again. Minority, diversity, black and brown, people of color, women of color. I got to add BIPOC to this as well. Maybe some other terms. Matter of fact, if y'all can think of some terms in the chat that should be curse words to us, that are ways to neglect us without being direct about it, type them in there and I'll look at them, and we may add them to this presentation. But that is part of our ground rules. We don't allow cussing. You got to talk to us directly. Talk to us nice. Oh, and Anthony Moore, Chcago. What's up, brother? Anthony was at the press conference we did today, and he turned all the way up. So, what is ADOS? ADOS. And this is a snippet from Dr. William Darity's book, From Here to Equality. And for those that don't know, Dr. William Darity is an intergenerational economist. He's been an economist for, I think, 30-something years. Prior to ADOS, he was an economist that was known in academic circles. But when ADOS got going, when the co-founders Antonio Moore and Yvette Carnell started talking to us about what ADOS is and what the mission should be in developing this idea, this movement, one of the things they were heavy into was data. The data of the black community, the wealth gap, things of that nature. The wealth gap is a term coined by, I believe, Thomas Shapiro. We would see the co-founders of the movement interviewing Thomas Shapiro and talking about Piketty, which is another economist that deals with wealth inequality. Well, in the interim, developing this movement, William Darity, an intergenerational economist, came along, and he was also talking about data. He was also talking about reparations, and he happened to be ADOS. He happened to be an American descendant of slavery. So it was a perfect fit. And post us kind of previewing his data, it kind of elevated his data into the mainstream, at least as far as the reparations conversations go. All right, it made him a household reparations name. So this is how Dr. Darity is connected to ADOS. But before that, it was ADOS. It was data before anything, data before Darity. All right, so we were already here. And his work, part of it is displayed in this book, From Here to Equality. And because of the connection we had developed, we were actually mentioned in this book. So I'll read the snippet to you so you can know what ADOS is. It says a movement blossomed in early 2019 on electronic network platforms under the label ADOS, hashtag ADOS, an acronym for American Descendants of Slavery. This digital campaign asserts that Black American descendants of persons enslaved in the United States have a unique and exceptional claim on the nation's government for justice. That's what ADOS is in terminology. Well, ADOS is something else. ADOS is also an ethnicity. What's an ethnicity? Ethnicity, the fact or state of belonging to a social group that has a common national or cultural tradition. So we're not only a word, we're an ethnicity, a lineage. Okay? And let me show you why that's important. So if you're new, you may have never heard of, black folks, black Americans, particularly talking about lineage. Well, let me illustrate it a little bit better for you. So when you see this, and whenever I do this presentation, and we're in front of people live at churches and things like that, whenever I ask the questions I'm about to ask, I always get the same answer. It's crazy how it happens. So if you see this guy on the screen and you know who he is, type who he is in the screen. Who is this guy right here? Y'all know this guy? Y'all know this guy right here? All right. If you type Bob Marley, you are absolutely right. That's Bob Marley. Question. And I always get the same answer when I do this live and in person and in churches and in libraries, etc. Question. What is Bob Marley? Tell me what he is. If you've never seen this before, what is Bob Marley? Go ahead and type it in the chat. What is Bob Marley? If you're new here and you've seen this for the first time, what is Bob Marley? Come on, somebody type it in the chat. What is Bob? Tell us what Bob Marley is. All right, y'all not typing, so I'm just going to tell you. Bob Marley, most people say, and I get the same answer all the time, say he's Jamaican. And I'm going to say you get the prize. You're correct. Bob Marley is Jamaican. All right. Now, who is this guy? Y'all know this guy, right? This is Michael Jackson, obviously. What is Michael Jackson? What is he? And when I ask this question in public settings, I get the same answer. Michael Jackson is black. Right? Well, you may have noticed something. Bob Marley is black too. But when you saw Bob, you said, oh, Bob is Jamaican. Well, why did you say Bob was Jamaican, but Michael Jackson is black when Bob is black too? Let me ask you a question. Some people may say Bob is African American, which if he were to move to America, they would say he's African American. They would also say Michael Jackson is African American. But if Michael Jackson moved to Jamaica, what would Michael Jackson be? He would still be black, right? All right. Well, what I'm trying to explain to you is what lineage and race is, okay? And the reason you associate Bob Marley with Jamaica and Michael Jackson with black is a particular reason for that. You don't know it, but it's a reason for that. And what you're essentially doing is you're assigning a home to Bob Marley by saying he's Jamaican, but you're rendering Michael Jackson culturally homeless by saying he's black. Okay? I'll show you what I mean. So understanding race and lineage. Race is the street we all live on as people classified as black. So if I see a black person, and you understand that black is fictitious, right? Black is a race, as we just said. It's not real. It's a construct. But that's how we communicate today, and that's fine. And so race is the street we all live on as people classified as black. So if I see a black person, if I'm in China and I see a black person, if I'm in Canada and I see a black person, if I'm in Arkansas or Arizona and I see a black person, I know I see somebody from my block. Because again, race is the street we all live on. I know I see somebody from my street. I know I see somebody from Black Street, right? Lineage or ethnicity, on the other hand, is the house we all individually live in on that street. What that means is Bob Marley lived on Jamaica Street. All right. So on Black Street, Bob Marley has a home on Black Street. Um, Toussaint Overture has a home. If you saw him, you say he's Haitian on Black Street. Nelson Mandela has a home. You say he's South African. Hussein Bolt has a home. You say he's Jamaican. All right. But we all understand they're black. But then you see Michael Jackson and you say, he's black. You see Dr. King, you say, he's black or African American. Which again, if those other folks move to America, they'd be African American too. You see Serena Williams, you say, she's black. So you're rendering those folk homeless by simply saying they're black. But you're giving those others who are black but from other countries, you're giving them a lineage, you're giving them an ethnicity. So I hope you can see we don't really have an ethnicity as black Americans in this country. We're just black. Anybody else who comes here is black, who's black, can be considered African American as well. So we're kind of homeless on Black Street. And you know what happens when you're homeless? Well, when you're homeless, all your stuff is just open for anybody to plunder. So just imagine you're on Black Street. Everybody else got a home. Jamaican got a home. Haiti got a home. Nigeria's got a home. And you on the street, but all your stuff is in a grocery cart. And you just walking down the street with your little grocery cart. All your stuff is in there. All your money, all your jewels, all your china, all your music, all your culture, everything you created, your intellectual property. See, this is what a house protects. On the street of black, each house protects its stuff. What do I mean? Well, if I say, what kind of music is reggae music, what are you going to say? Oh, that's Jamaican music. If I say, what kind of food is jerk chicken, what are you going to say? Oh, it's Jamaican food. But if I say, what kind of music is rap music, you're going to say, oh, that's black. Get it? If I say, what kind of food is soul food, oh, that's black food. Okay? And what that does is that allows anybody black to claim those things. Well, the problem is it's not reciprocated. I can't claim Jamaican music, which is fine. I give them all the credit in the world, but it's not mine. It's theirs. That's their tribe. I can't claim. I'm gonna hurt somebody's feelings with this one. I gotta tell you, I can't claim the pyramids in Egypt. I know, y'all like the pyramids, and y'all say, oh, we built the pyramids. You ain't built no pyramid. Okay? There was a different tribe of black folk who built the pyramids. That's their stuff. You ain't built no pyramid, but I'll tell you what you did build. You built the greatest country on the face of the earth. You built America. I don't need the pyramid for any pride or dignity and to make me feel good. Ain't nobody running to Egypt to try to live by no pyramid. Everybody coming to America. That's what we built. Okay? So I'm trying to get you to see the importance of race and lineage. Let me go a little bit further. Why is knowing your lineage so important? Look at the public sector. Did you know there was a Congressional Caribbean Caucus? Most people aren't familiar with that. Did you know there was a Congressional Nigerian Caucus? Here's what the African Immigrant Caucus says. Other ethnic groups have a seat at the table and are getting their issues heard. Why not us? Now, is there a problem with having a caucus for Caribbeans? No, I have no problem with that. I have no problem with it at all. What about for African immigrants? Is there a problem with that, having a caucus specifically for African immigrants? No, not a problem. Matter of fact, let me tell you a little story. I know when COVID first hit, I knew of one of our chapter members knew of some organizations that helped different black folk from different countries with COVID issues, right? I think one was the African or the Ghanaian something, and the other one was the Jamaican or whatever it was. It was different countries, organizations for in America from different countries, well, with the label of different countries, helping folks from those countries. And so she called one of them, and she asked, she said she was having some problems with, thinks she has COVID, she needs some resources. And you know what they asked her? I think it was the Ghanaian one, I believe. They said, are you Ghanaian? And she said, well, no, I'm not Ghanaian, but I'm black. But they said, well, you're going to have to call one for you. This one isn't for you. Okay. So again, is there a problem with that? Nah, it's not a problem. It's not a problem with the Congressional Caribbean Caucus. But let me ask you a question. Could I go to the Congressional Caribbean Caucus and we just talking real talk here? This ain't nothing personal. I love Caribbean. I got Caribbean friends, love them. But this is just real talk. Can I go to the Congressional Caribbean Caucus and get anything? Here's another question. Here's a better question. Should I be able to? I'm gonna answer that for you. No, that's for them. They have their own special needs and interests and stuff like that. That caucus is for them. Okay, just like that institution that helped with COVID crises for that community, that's for them. But here's a question for you. Can they come to the Congressional Black Caucus and get some help? But of course they can. You don't see the problem with that? All right, let me keep going. That was the public sector. Let's talk about the private sector. Have you ever heard of MIJIC, the Midwest Jamaican Corps? That's an organization that does stuff for Jamaican folk in America. I think it's right up here in Evanston. What about NAPA, the Nigerian American Professionals Association? They do stuff for Nigerian American professionals. Did you know that there are scholarships specifically for people from different countries that you don't get to access? Which is fine, they should have scholarships, but I'm hoping you can see what I'm saying and where I'm coming from here. So I was talking to a brother the other day, as a matter of fact. We were on a conference call. Brother was from Jamaica. Good brother, real good brother. And we were talking, and he says, we talked about, somebody asked me about ADOS, so I told him what it was and all that kind of stuff. And he said, and I'm quoting him, brother said, I have a problem with ADOS. And somebody said, why? He said, because y'all excluding me. I said, oh, interesting. And I asked him where he was from. Brother said, oh, I'm from Jamaica. My mom and daddy are from Jamaica. So let me be clear on that real quick. Let me do a little commercial. If you have a parent that is connected to American slave plantations and sharecropping farms, etc., and then another parent on the other side that's from another country that happens to be black, you're still ADOS. Okay, you just have dual lineages. All right? There are many of us like that. Malcolm X, mother, I think, was from some Caribbean island, and his dad is from America. Okay, so he would be an ADOS person. So just want to make that clear. But the brother, he felt a way about it. And so I kind of explained it to him a little bit. But after the conference call, I called him personally. And I'm from Chcago, so I had to, I had to shoot straight with him. I mean, I wasn't mean about it, but I'm from Chcago, so we keep it real. And so I said, brother, I'm calling you because you seem to have had a problem with ADOS. And he said, well, no, I don't have a problem with it. I just thought it was kind of interesting or weird. I ain't never heard that. So we got to talking, and I said, well, brother, are there any Jamaican organizations that do things specifically for Jamaicans in America? He said, yeah. I said, could I come and help it? Come and get some help from it? He said, well, no. And I said, well, could you come get some help from some of my organizations for black folk? He said, well, yeah. I said, you don't see the problem with that? You get to double dip. You get to go into your organization to get some help, come over to my organization to get some help, and I get stuck in my organization. I can't come over to yours. You see? And he understood. But I'm just trying to get all of us to understand that ain't nothing wrong with having your own separate lineage. The problem becomes when everybody else has one and you don't. That's when you're in trouble. Okay? And so ADOS is that cultural shelter in America for American descendants of slavery. That's our culture. That's our ethnicity. That's our group. That's our lineage. And so let me show you some more tricks that folks play. Right here in the city of Chicago, this little clip right here says it gives a breakdown of the different ethnicities in Chicago. See, they do things back by ethnicity when it's important, convenient. But for us, it's always, it's always another story. But look at what this says. I got this from offline. It says the main ethnic groups in Chicago include Irish, German, Italian, Mexican, Syrian, Arab, Bangladesh, Jews, English, Bosnian, Croatian, Bulgarian, Czech, Greek, Black, Korean, Chinese, Indian, Philippine, Lithuanian, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So those are a bunch of different ethnicities. Many of them are white. But in Chicago, they say black folk are a minority. In the state of Illinois, they say black folk are a minority. Well, I don't know about that. 95% of the black folk in Chicago are ADOS. They come from folks who were enslaved in this country, either on both sides or one side. And that's 95% of us. Well, in Chicago, only 15% of white Chicago is German. And German is the largest ethnic group in this country. In this, largest white ethnic group in this city, and probably in this country. So if that ethnic group is 15% of Chicago, and we're 29, 28, 30% of Chicago as an ethnic group, why are they telling you a minority? And why are they putting your stuff in this one little box as a minority, and then shoving white women over there, and gays, and the LGBT, and people of color, and Hispanics, and Jews, and humpbacks, and midgets, and they putting everybody over in the minority pot. And now you stuck fighting with all these folk over this little bitty piece of change. But Irish folk, they don't got to go over there because, well, that's the game they play. But I'm saying we're not minorities in the city of Chicago, but we get treated like minorities. Minority means weak. All right. So let's go a little bit further. Look how this describes African American. It says African Americans are an ethnic group of Americans with a total or partial ancestry from any of the black racial groups of Africa. See, I told you. I just told you that. I said if Bob Marley or whomever moved to America, they're going to be considered African American. But if I move to Jamaica or wherever, I'm not going to be considered them. And that's cool. But it got to be reciprocal, or it's going to always be an imbalance in resources. Okay? So hopefully you understand what ADOS is, why it's important to have a lineage identification and ethnic identification, and what ADOS has done in that regard. So now let's talk about how do we advocate? Now that we know what lineage is, what race is, how do you advocate? Because now you got a different paradigm now. You got new information, so you got to start doing different things. You got to, it's like you being in a room in the dark for, 24 hours, and somebody comes and flip on the light switch. You're going to get startled a little bit, right? So now you got to start doing different things. You got to start reevaluating some stuff because you shook up a little bit. So now we got to reevaluate. When the lights pop on and you try to get out the bed, if you don't reevaluate some things, you're gonna mess around and hurt yourself. Things are blurry, and so we just shook it up a little bit for you. So let's reacclimate ourselves and show you how to kind of start over. So how do you advocate now that you know what ADOS is? Well, let me show you how you don't advocate. This is a tweet from the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, the NAACP. Remember, colored people used to be just us because the only people that were in the country pre the Immigration Act, primarily, for the most part, was black folk and white folk and Native Americans. The Smithsonian says it was to the right of the decimal point as it relates to other people who weren't American descendants of slaves or slaves in this country. So the foreign black population was less than 1% pre-65 or something like that, okay? So the NAACP says this legislation, talking about some, I think, COVID legislation, it says this legislation is a desperately needed first step to helping small businesses owned by, here come that curse word, people of color and located in underserved areas, which is hardest hit by COVID. All right, that's what the NAACP said. Let's look at the Black Caucus. It says, power up, African American lawmakers. This is a tweet from April of the 16th of April of this year. It says, power up, African American lawmakers say the Trump administration isn't doing enough to help minorities weather coronavirus. What is the African American, the Black Caucus talking about white women for? Why are they talking about white women? Well, what do you mean, Marlon? Well, white women are minorities. Why they talk about white women? All right. This is a little game they play. And they say, oh, we're minorities. But the phrase minority was supposed to be to help us because of what happened to us via slavery and Jim Crow. But what they don't tell you is we make women minorities, but 40% of the slaves owned in this country were owned by women, white women. So how did they create the category for us to help us navigate out of the hole slavery and Jim Crow put us in, but then put the people who put us in the hole in the same category? How did they do that? Well, we know why they did it, but how did they do it? They did it, I'll tell you how, because we didn't get lineage. You see? If we'd have got lineage way back when, they couldn't have pulled that trick on us, right? So this is the Black Caucus advocating for white women, talking about minorities. Here's the Black Caucus again. It says 2.8 million immigrants are healthcare professionals putting their lives at risk to take care of their parents. They must all, no matter their immigrant status, talking about legal and illegal or undocumented, be included in COVID relief packages. All right, that's the CBC, Congressional Black Caucus. Look at the Hispanic Caucus. Here's a tweet from the Hispanic Caucus. Around half, 49% of Hispanics say they or someone in their household has taken a pay cut or lost a job or both because of the COVID-19 outbreak, compared with 33% of all U.S. adults. Now here's the kicker right here. They say the next recovery package must do more for, can y'all see that? What that say? People of color? Did I say minorities? Did I say the next recovery package must do something for Black and brown communities? Or does it say the next recovery package must do more for diverse communities? No, I ain't saying none of that. They get down to the nitty gritty. The next recovery package must do more for Latino communities. They get how to advocate. We're the ones who, don't get it. So now you have them advocating for themselves 100% of the time. Then you have us advocating for them 50% of the time and ourselves 50% of the time. So they got 150% advocacy. You got 50%. And then you try to understand why you can't compete. Everybody eating off your plate, man. You advocating for everybody. You advocating for everybody. Everybody else is advocating for themselves. And you can't figure out why you can't compete. It's like you're playing a basketball game. Let's say you play for the Bulls and you're playing the Lakers, and Kobe Bryant shoots a 3-pointer and he bounces it off the rim, and you get the rebound, and LeBron James runs up near you, and because you're on the Lakers side and LeBron James is close to the rim, you throw him alley-oop. You throw LeBron James an alley-oop and you play for the Bulls. Well, that's what we do when we do people of color and minorities. We throw everybody else alley-oops while everybody else is throwing themselves alley-oops. And we wonder why we can't get it. We can't make it. We can't make it because we don't know how to advocate. We hadn't defined our lineage. All right? So we need to start to advocate in a way that's specific to us. We need to start having people talk to us in a way that's specific to us, particularly when it comes to reparations. When it comes to reparations, those other ethnicities who may be Black but didn't go through the system of slavery and sharecropping and all that stuff in America, and may have just gotten here, say in the 1970s, 80s, or whatever the case may be, they don't get reparations. They get it from the countries that they're from or their parents are from, but they don't get it from America. And we need that to be clear. And again, I want to make sure I'm clear again. If you were here pre-19, say 65 or something like that, and you may have been a black person from a different country, which happened, but it was so rare, but it's not even statistically significant necessarily, but it happened. The thing is, if you were here, like say, I don't know, say the 1920s or 30s, 9 times out of 10, and you came from a different country, 9 times out of 10, at this point, you've kind of amalgamated into ADOS culture because you probably married a ADOS person or had a child with an ADOS person, because at the time we all lived around each other. So your children are ADOS if that happened. Okay, so I just want to be clear on how ADOS works in terms of who is and who isn't. Now, again, with reparations, one of the real important things with lineage in this country is where reparations go. You have a lot of organizations who talk about reparations, like NARCN and COBRA. They've been doing reparations work for some time, and their concept is reparations in America goes to everybody that's black in America. And we say no, that don't work. We say if you got hit by a Coca-Cola truck and I got hit by a Pepsi truck, Coca-Cola pays you and Pepsi pays me. That's how reparations work. If you are Jamaican and your parents come from a Jamaican island or Caribbean island or whatever the case may be, or you come from an African country and you were enslaved or harmed in those countries, which I'm sure you were, those countries pay you. America pays me. Get it? Is that clear? So now that we have defined a little bit further what ADOS is, who it is, and how it works, let's play a little game called the Wheel of Fortune, the ADOS Wheel of Fortune. And we call this game In the House. And when we do this, in person, in front of folks, we have a lot of fun with this, but we can't do it online. It's virtual. But if you want to participate, feel free. If you want to yell out what we're going to tell you to yell out, go ahead and do your thing, okay? So, and hopefully we can get through this COVID stuff again so we can start meeting in person. And we used to have a blast. We used to bring out 40, 50, sometimes 60 people and have a good old time. All right, so here it is, In the House. So I'm going to show you a contestant on In the House or on ADOS Wheel of Fortune. And if this person is ADOS, I want you to yell out In the House. All right, so if you're in your crib and you want to yell out In the House real loud, go ahead. I give you permission. Folks gonna think you crazy, but that's okay. Go ahead and yell it out real loud, all right? And if they say, what you doing? Why you screaming in the house? Tell them come on in and watch the presentation, and they'll start screaming in the house too when they find out that they in the house, if they in the house. All right. So first contestant on In the House, y'all know who that is. We ain't even got to talk about that. They in the house. That's Dr. King and Coretta Scott King. All right. The apostle of civil rights, Dr. King. In fact, Dr. King, in his book, Where Do We Go From Here, he called us descendants of slaves. So, we've just defined it. We made sure that it was American descendants of slaves. And we consider ourselves picking up the mantle of Dr. King, because right before Dr. King was assassinated, he said, in this campaign, we're going to get our check, meaning reparations. And he was assassinated shortly after that, and we're picking up that mantle. And again, we took that phrase he used, descendants of slaves, and put American on it, because at the time, there weren't a lot of non-American blacks here in this country. So he didn't have to too much worry about that. But today, they're probably 10% of our population. So we need to be clear. We need to be clear. So Dr. King and Coretta Scott King are ADOS approved. All right. So let's get to the next contestant. Next contestant. Y'all know who that is. That's Booker T. Yes, sir. Booker T is ADOS approved. Y'all know who this is right here. WEB. ADOS approved. What about this fella right here, or this sister right here? That's Madam C.J. Walker. Absolutely ADOS approved. Who is this fella right here? Marcus Mosiah Garvey. Yes, sir. We love Garvey, right? But my brother is not ADOS approved. And that's okay. Ain't nothing wrong with his brother being Jamaican. We love him, but he's Jamaican. And let me tell you what Jamaica said. Jamaica said in the event that they get reparations, guess who it follows? Those whose ancestors were enslaved in Jamaica, but may have left Jamaica for a different country. It follows them. Okay? So we love our brother, but he's not ADOS. And that's okay. Next contestant, the minister. We love the minister, don't we? I grew up down the street from the mosque, so I love the minister. I used to see the brothers with the bow ties and the bean pies, and my dad still lived down the street from the mosque. I saw those militant brothers, and I used to want to be a Muslim. And so we love the minister, right? But the minister is not ADOS, from my understanding. The brother, both parents are from the Caribbean islands. And guess what? Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Okay? He's just not ADOS. That's okay. I know I'm hurting some of y'all feelings, but I got to tell you the truth. The first contestant here is Michelle Obama. Yes, she's ADOS. Barack Obama. No, he ain't. Barack ain't ADOS. But his kids are. Okay, so in the event that we get reparations, guess what? Michelle would get it. Malia would get it. Sasha would get it. But Barack, he wouldn't get it directly to him because he's not ADOS. All right. And on Barack, let me tell you, I'm gonna drive home how important lineage is and how us not paying attention to it has made us sleep at the switch. Watch this. We built the greatest country on planet Earth. Not even up for argument, right? But let's look at the firsts. The first black president was not ADOS. The first black attorney general, Eric Holder, not ADOS. The first black joint chief of staff, Colin Powell, not ADOS. The first black VP candidate and potentially vice president, Kamala Harris, not ADOS. The first black VP chief of staff that works for Kamala Harris, not ADOS. The first black chairman of the Young Democrats, who happens to be a black woman, not ADOS. The first black female president of the Harvard Law Review, not ADOS. The first black male president of the Harvard Law Review, not ADOS. The first black Supreme Court justice in New Jersey, not ADOS. I could keep going. I could go on and on and on. Let me take you to the acting arena. Well, let's go to the college arena. The largest black graduating classes from Ivy League colleges, Yale, Princeton, Harvard, and all those kind of places. They're not ADOS black folk. They laud, we got a large black graduating class. But they not, you built them colleges, but the black graduates aren't you. I mean, look, don't get mad at me. I'm just telling you the truth. Let's look at acting. The brother that played Coretta Scott or Martin King, not ADOS. Played Coretta Scott, not ADOS. That's about to play Huey Newton in Black Panther. Or I'm sorry, Fred Hampton in Black Panther, right? Brother right here from Chicago, Fred Hampton. The brother who's going to play him in the biopic, not ADOS. The sister that played Harriet Tubman, not ADOS. The Denzel Washington of today, Idris Elba, not ADOS. I mean, I can go on and on and on and on and on. So I'm just saying, is there anything wrong with not being ADOS? No. Is there anything wrong with having a lineage? No. But the problem becomes when there's nothing wrong with having an ethnicity, nothing wrong with having a lineage, nothing wrong with having a tribe. The problem becomes a problem when everybody has one and you don't. That's when it becomes a problem. When everybody has a tribe and you don't. It's like everybody got a gun and you ain't got one. Or back to our original analogy, it's like everybody got a house on the block and you don't. So everybody can get your stuff. You need a tribe. We live in a world full of tribes. Sorry, I didn't make it like this. All right, but if you don't have that, you have no protection, and every and anybody can get your stuff. If we would have had sense of tribe before, I doubt Barack Obama would have got past go. Well, actually, I'll take that back. I take that back. He got in because of Michelle Obama. Yeah, he used that ADOS woman, and we saw an ADOS family. That's what happened. That's what happened. He used that ADOS woman, and we saw an ADOS family. We knew it kind of intrinsically, or just by instinct, but we couldn't define it. We couldn't articulate it. But that's what he did. If he came in there because Barack was about to marry a white woman, because his mama white, his daddy is Kenyan and his mama white, so he's going to marry somebody like his mama, a white woman. And that's cool. Marry who you want to marry. You marry who you want to marry. You grown. But if he'd married that white woman, he wouldn't have got past go. If he'd married that white woman, he wouldn't have been elected senator. So he got lineage. We didn't. If he'd have married a Kenyan woman, I doubt if he'd have got past go. He understood lineage. We didn't. That's why he went to ADOS church, down at Jeremiah Wright's church, and went to ADOS communities and started talking and acting and walking like ADOS folk and getting to know ADOS folk. Because he got lineage. We just didn't. All right, so let me get off my soapbox. But I'm trying to get y'all to see this thing. Oh, man, look at the next contestant. That's the sister Yvette Cardinale. She is the triple OG ADOS approved. And Yvette Cardinale is the co-founder, one of the co-founders of ADOS. You can actually search her on YouTube. Just search Yvette Cardinale. Or you can search her online. Or you can go to ADOS101.com. And you can find out about that sister. She has a show that comes on YouTube every Monday and Wednesday. One coming on tomorrow at 9 o'clock Central or 9:30 Central, something like that. So that's the co-founder of ADOS, and she is, I know she high yellow, but she ADOS. That's an ADOS sister right there. That sister's ADOS to the bone. The next contestant, that's the other co-founder of ADOS, brother Antonio Moore. You can also search him on YouTube. Just go to YouTube and type in Antonio Moore, or you can go to ADOS101.com. And his shows come on every Thursday or Friday, one of the two. I think every Friday. And sometimes it depends. So go to YouTube and find his channel and subscribe to it. Him and Yvette Cardinale's channel, and sign up for the notifications. So when the shows come on, you'll get a notification. Matter of fact, you can go look at his latest show, where he interviewed Ice Cube. Just interviewed Ice Cube about his Black contract with Black America. So the brother Antonio Moore, the co-founder of ADOS, is ADOS approved. This brother here, if you are in Chicago and you are in the political world, that's my brother Brian Mullins. I don't know if he's watching, but we often tease him because he looks Cuban or Indian or something, but he's ADOS, brother ADOS. We give him a pass. We think he ADOS. He told us his folks came from slave plantations, so we let him slide. He ADOS. And this next picture, or last picture, is a large part of the ADOS family right here in Chicago. And this was us last year. We went to Springfield, and we went down there. We got a couple of bills in the state capitol. One is for lineage. The other one is for equity. House Bill 4260 is for lineage, and it's to create a space for American descendants of slavery in Illinois state law. And so this is the group right here. We were right in the rotunda in the state capitol. We went down there. We lobbied that bill. We had a good time. So all these folk here are ADOS 100%. Question is, are you? And if you are you ready to join us in this fight? So hopefully you get it. And if you got it, I want to say, welcome home, ADOS. Welcome home, ADOS. Welcome home. You have a home now. All right. So, what is ADOS? ADOS is American Descendants of Slavery. It's a lineage, an ethnicity, an identity, and a movement. So let me speed up a little bit. I know it's all right, it was 6:58, so let me speed up here. So I'm not going to even play this. This is the founder. You can go find this on. This is our co-founder. You can go find this on YouTube. The difference between black wealth and white wealth explained in less than 2 minutes. Just go type that in YouTube and you'll pull this video up. And he's kind of explaining where we are economically. And his explanation is in this chart. And this is what's called the racial wealth gap. And so as you can see, there's a massive gap between black and white people. The white bar, the blue bar is white. The red bar, burgundy bar is black. The gold bar is Latino. And Latinos are as poor as us, but many of them just got here from a country. And when they got here, they were poor. That's different. We always been poor. That's way different. Okay, so don't compare the two. So as you see, there's a massive wealth gap. Right now, the wealth gap, and this is projected out to 2024, but right now the wealth gap is for white people, I believe it's 150, 170,000 at the median, and for ADOS people, it's $1,700. Didn't stutter, $1,700. So how did this happen? What created this wealth gap? Bacon. Hickory smoked bacon is not what created it. Cotton is what created the wealth gap. Not just cotton, but that was the primary crop we picked. That's what created the wealth for this country. We picked the cotton, we picked everything: the tobacco, the fruit, the vegetables. We shoveled the snow, cut the grass, built the house, painted the house, cleaned the house, nursed the kids, took care of master, built the schools, built the roads, and all the torture notwithstanding, and we did not get paid. So cotton and our unpaid labor is how the wealth gap got created, because we did all that work, we were not paid, and all that wealth was given to white families and passed down to generation to generation to generation, and we never were able to access it. But the reason I showed hickory smoked bacon at the beginning is because many do not know that there is a company called King Cotton, and they sell meat products. Isn't that crazy? Crazy, right? But what does the term King Cotton come from? It comes from James Hammond, a Southern plantation owner in the U.S. The senator says, without firing a gun, without drawing a sword, should they make war on us, we could bring the whole world to our feet. What would happen if no cotton was furnished for 3 years? I'll not stop to depict what everyone can imagine, but this is certain. England would topple headlong and carry the whole civilized world with her, save the South. He talked about America, save this, except the South. No, you dare not make war on cotton. No power on earth dares to make war on cotton. Cotton is king. King Cotton. That's what created the wealth gap. Let me give you some more context. Let's drill down into that. Here's Mississippi cotton production, just Mississippi. In 1833, it was 70 million pounds of cotton produced. 1839, 193 million pounds. 1849, 194 million pounds. And in 1859, 535 million pounds of cotton. And in the 1830s, cotton was about 10 cents a pound. And that's a lot of money for 70 million pounds. In 1859, cotton got to around 130, 140 cent, $1.30, $1.40 per pound. And do you know how much $1.30 times 535 million pounds is? It's a lot. It's a lot of money. But we never got that money. And that money passed down from generation to generation to generation of white folk, and we never got access to it. And it's created the wealth gap. And so this gives you a chronology of our experience here. From 1600s to the 1900s, mid-1900s, it was slavery still going on in the mid-1900s. This is why, and people say 1865 was the Emancipation Proclamation. It was, but I don't have time to get into a bunch of detail, but in 1942, the president issued a circular that made slavery illegal. Well, why would you have to make slavery illegal if the Emancipation Proclamation made it illegal, because they were still enslaving black folk, evidently. Right? And so, what's the problem? What's the problem? We know how we got to where we are as far as wealth, but that lack of wealth creates a bunch of problems, creates a bunch of dysfunction. W.E.B. Du Bois says, to be poor is hard, but to be a poor people in a land full of dollars is the bottom of hardship. And so it creates all kinds of issues and dysfunction. You know, we see a bunch of violence going on in the city of Chicago and all around predominantly ADOS communities around the country. We see just all kind of dysfunction. You know? We know, I don't have to explain it, but all of it comes from lack of wealth. You know, when the Irish community was poor in America, they had gangs and gang violence and dysfunction and stabbings and shootings. And when the Italian community was poor in America, they had gangs violence, stabbings, shootings, large underground illegal activities going on, prohibition. As a matter of fact, Al Capone right here in Chicago. Recently this summer, it was 15 people shot coming out of a funeral on 79th and Carpenter. Nobody died, but 15 people got shot, and there was gang rivalry. Well, in the 1960s, somewhere around, I don't know what year exactly, I think 65 or whatever year it was, Al Capone's gang, I think they call it the Valentine's Day Massacre, I believe. They shot 20 people and killed like 8 or something like that. Well, what was going on in the Italian community at the time? They was poor. That's what was going on. So they weren't fully American yet, you know? And they were into illegal activities. And because of the poverty, that's what happens when you're poor in a land full of dollars, and you got to survive in a capitalistic society. You do what you got to do. And that creates a bunch of dysfunction. So they had the same issues. But America made them fully American. They took the Bank of Italy and they turned it into the Bank of America. The Bank of Italy used to be the Bank of America that we know now used to be the Bank of Italy. But our bank, the Freedmen Bank and the Freedmen Bureau that they created after emancipation, when they, along with that issue, started issuing 40 acres and a mule, which they actually did right off the coast of Florida and South Carolina and Georgia. They were giving 40 acres and a mule to the formerly enslaved, and they set up the Black Bank, the Black Freedmen's Bureau, and those institutions for us. After Lincoln was assassinated, they started taking back the 40 acres and a mule, and and the bank became defunct, and the bureau became defunct and defunded, and we were back at zero. But the Bank of Italy, well, that went on and became the Bank of America. Get it? So they made them okay. They made us not okay. So look at this chart, the Color of Wealth report. It shows the wealth, or the median net wealth, the household net worth, rather, by ethnicity. And in LA, US Black is worth $4,000. Black immigrants, $72,000. You can see this column here. Latin, $3,500. Whites, $350,000. Asians, $298,000. Miami, US Blacks, $3,700. Black immigrants, $12,000. Latin, $22,000. Whites, $100,000. Boston, US Blacks, $8. Not 80, not 800, $8. Black immigrants, $18,000. Latin, $4,000. Whites, $250,000. In the District of Columbia, US Blacks, $3,500. Immigrants, $3,000. Whites, $284,000. And Asians, $428,000. And my theory behind District of Columbia, well, first, understand that the immigrant blacks, yeah, many of them just came here. Not just came here, but they didn't come through slavery and Jim Crow. So they don't have the same oppression or economic exclusion. Okay, it's different. And so to get over here many times, you gotta have some money. Or maybe not a lot of money, but you gotta have some money. And not only that, you come getting hooked up already. Like many come as workers in certain industries, like I don't know, an engineer or a nurse or a doctor. You come and get hooked up much of the time. So your economic condition is different, okay? But my theory behind District of Columbia, the reason the wealth gap of U.S. blacks and immigrant black immigrant blacks are a little lower is because of Mayor Marion Barry. When he was mayor, he was very significant in crafting legislation to help black folk in that city. And I am in my own personal estimation, that's why the black American blacks in DC aren't doing as bad as everybody else, or are on par with at least black immigrants. And so I'm just showing you the different the wealth gap in different iterations. So this is a chart made by Antonio Moore, and it shows the wealth gap in a different way. And it shows here the ultra elite have a net worth of 6 million or more. There are less than a few thousand blacks in that strata. The elite having a wealth of 1.2 million or more. There are less than 350,000 blacks in that strata. The good column has a net worth of a half million or more. There's less than 750,000 blacks in that strata. In the average family, 110,000 or more. Most of us are down there. So I'm gonna speed up here. I don't want to hold you guys too long. Maybe another 10 minutes. And this is the wealth gap displayed in even a different way. As you see here, this little highlighted area says the bottom 50% of black households are worth less than $1. This is us. This is what the wealth gap is, and this is what slavery and Jim Crow created. And where is the wealth gap the worst? Where is it most difficult? Well, this is an NPR article, says Chicago owns America's widest racial wealth income. Chicago owns America's widest racial gap in income and economic mobility. So if you're in Chicago or Illinois, we need you. We need your help. We got to fix this. And so this is a chart showing a breakdown of poor residents within races, income below poverty level in Chcago, Illinois. And as you can see, black families, we are winning there. Okay. Another chart as well. I'm kind of speeding up here, but you can always pause this or come back to it. Or if you want this presentation, I can send it over to you. Just email me. I'll shoot it to you. Here's a clip from Harvard economist Ross Chetty. He says, for the white Americans, achieving the American dream is like climbing an income ladder. If you climb up in one generation, that's basically where you're going to start the next generation, and then you can climb up further. Well, for black Americans, and black men in particular, it's like being on a treadmill, where even after you've climbed up in one generation, there are tremendous structural forces that make it highly likely you're going to fall back down in the next generation, and then you have to make that climb again. And all those issues, that economic exclusion causes massive unemployment as well. And this is pre-COVID, as you can see. White unemployment is at 7%, African American 21%, not even in the labor force 39%, and 52% for us. Is extremely worse in the COVID world we live in. And all that creates black male incarceration. I can get heavy into that, but I won't. I'll just tell you that the black males incarcerated in the United States, which are 745,000, make up more than all these countries combined. And black men incarcerated in America make up more than women incarcerated around the globe. Here's another chart created by Antonio Moore. And it shows, I think Antonio Moore created this chart. I'm pretty sure. Well, either way, it shows the incarceration rates of black men in the bar chart. So for white women, it's 129 per 100,000. Black women, 332 per 100,000. And white women are catching up with black women, by the way. White men is 919 per 100,000. Black men is 5,000 per 100,000, and working age black men or young black man is 9,000 per 100,000. And what happens when black men get incarcerated? Well, it hit our women too. eviction rates for black women on par with incarceration rates for black men. That's not a coincidence. And again, I don't want to hold y'all too long, so I don't want to go through all these data charts, but you can come back and look at them at your leisure. This is just showing the median household net worth by race and income quintile. The blue bars are white, red bars are black. As you can see, we ain't on par with them. We're not on par. This is the median household net worth by race and employment status. Look at that. Isn't that interesting? For whites, is full-time employees for whites are worth 144,000 and blacks 11,000. Unemployed whites worth 55,000, blacks 1,300. Isn't that something? And it shows it by race and education. So even if they say, you know, go to school, get a good education, get a good job, well, you still can't keep pace with white folks, because post-college whites are worth about 500,000, you're worth 140,000, and white folks with less than high school are worth 82,000, you're worth 2,700. So education clearly isn't it. What about health? Health is wealth, right? Well, the richer you are, the healthier you are. Look at this. Poor people experience more. This is the poor people column here. They experience more physical pain, more worry, more stress, more sadness, and more anger. The richer you get, the less of that you experience. Right here in the city of Chicago, in Inglewood, the median age of death is, I think, 60, 65. In Lakeview, it's 90. I don't even have to tell you who lives in Lakeview and who lives in Inglewood. Okay? So, what's the solution? Well, let me tell you what the solution is not. It's not entrepreneurialism. Everybody says, well, we just need to, I just showed you that it was an education. All right? I just showed you that. It's not entrepreneurialism. People say, well, we need to be more entrepreneurial. Well, let me tell you something. We're the most entrepreneurial people, enterprising people on the planet, or at least in this country. And the data says that. So this study, not for lack of trying, studied entrepreneurship in black and white and Hispanic people. And what they found out is it's not for lack of trying. All right? Let me read a little small piece of it here. It says, we find strong evidence. Well, let me drop down a bit. It says, in addition, we find that black Americans tend to exhibit more optimistic perceptions of their business environments than other racial groups and are more likely than others to attempt at starting a business. In fact, our results show that blacks are almost twice as likely as whites to try starting a business. Thus, our results suggest that the underrepresentation of black Americans among established entrepreneurs is not due to lack of trying, but may instead be due to stronger barriers to entry and higher failure rates. And when you look into that study further, it basically says it's capital. Okay? And again, come back and read these clips. I don't want to hold you guys too long. Pause it, take a look at it, screen cap it, and read those clips. Or go find that study. Go Google that study. This study even talks about our children. A lot of people say, you know, jump on black kids and say they need to do this, they need to pull their pants up and all kind of stuff. They need to stop buying Jordans and act like there's something wrong with them. But watch what this study discovered. It says our results are consistent with Wallstead and Korlisky in 1998, who investigated the attitudes towards education and knowledge of entrepreneurship of black youth using results from a national survey. Their study found black youth to exhibit a stronger desire to start businesses than white youth, to want more entrepreneurship taught in their schools, and to believe successful entrepreneurs have a responsibility to give back to the community. They believe in reciprocity, and they have a better mindset about business than white kids. In other words, people always say it's the mindset. No, not according to this study. Their mindset is better, and they want it more. As they get into the adulthood, they try harder. They want to start businesses more. So it's not entrepreneurialism. Take a look at this chart. There's 2.5 million black businesses in America, and 96% of them are non-employer firms. Meaning, you know, your friend that say he got his own business, or she got her own business, and it's just her. That's That's most of our businesses, okay? And look at this here. This is just a fun fact. We've done it all. Who do you think reads more in America? Well, this Pew Research study tells you. All right. Males, 69%. Females, 82%. Females read slightly, well, not slightly, largely more than men. But look at it by race. 76% white, 67% Hispanic, 81% black. Oh my God, we even read more? Well, yeah, we do it all more. And I'm not gonna play this clip. That's Dr. King basically saying that when white European peasants came to America, America gave them all kind of stuff: free land, free grants, free land grant colleges to help them mechanize the land. But they gave the slave and the slave descendant nothing. And he says, when we go to Washington this time, in this campaign, we're going to get our check. So he was talking about reparations. Shortly after that, he was assassinated, and we believe ADOS is picking up that mantle. So what's the solution? One is reparations, repayment of that debt, a closing of the racial wealth gap, and two, local demands for equity. Reparations will close the wealth gap, and equity would help keep it closed, meaning reparations is direct payment that would instantly close the wealth gap that can be given over generations. And equity means on a local level, like reparations is on the federal level that comes down to all across the country, wherever they are. Then local equity is not reparations, but it's equity in your local city, states, and county, meaning a fair amount of contracts, school funding, city jobs, funding for your neighborhoods, institutions, schools, museums, all those kinds of things. It's not reparations, but it's something your city, state, and county should do anyway. And so to fix the wealth gap, reparations would fix it instantly, and local equity would make it where you can maintain that wealth gap closure by instituting things in your community that would allow you to build and maintain your economic status. And so that's what reparations is, and that's what ADOS does. We fight for reparations, and to close the wealth gap, that's about a 10 to 12 trillion dollar price tag, and that would reach 35 million ADOS folks in America. And don't think of it as just one person getting it or somebody getting it. Just imagine whatever block you live on, everybody on that block will get reparations if you live in a black neighborhood, ADOS neighborhood. And then if the block next to you is ADOS folk, all black folk, they'd get it too. So just imagine going through the hood. They'd all get it. And we'd all get equity locally to help facilitate maintaining that wealth gap closure. So that is basically the presentation. In ADOS, we again fight for reparations on a federal level. I'm sorry I had to rush through this. I think I went in too heavy at the beginning, so I had to rush through a bunch of slides at the end. But in summary, ADOS is American Descendants of Slavery. It's a ethnicity, it's a lineage, and it's a movement for reparations and economic justice for those whose ancestors built this country. So that's the federal level, that's reparations. And on a local level, we have a black agenda for anybody black. And here in the state of Illinois, we're working on one via an executive order, which would, among other things, bring rapid economic relief to black people in the state of Illinois. And it would make violence a health crisis in the state of Illinois. So we could deal with the issue of violence, not just gun violence, police violence, domestic violence, legislative violence, all kind of violence. And so if you want to help with that initiative, go to itshardbeingblack.info. ITS hardbeingblack.info. You can see the link right here. In fact, we just did a press conference today in front of the governor's office concerning this. And so if you want to help us with that, go to that website, itshardbeingblack.info, sign that petition, and shoot us a donation. We out here working. We just did a press conference today. It was probably the mid 40s, low 40s. We was out there trembling and shaking but doing what we had to do for our people. Okay, and that executive order is the Rapid Relief Executive Order for Black Illinois citizens. And you can find it at itsheartbeingblack.info. You can go share that site, sign that petition, and shoot us a donation if you can. And that's primarily it. ADOS Chcago is adoschicago.org. That's our website. Or you can go to ados101.com for the main website. Or you can go again to itsheartbeingblack.info for that petition. And we also have a local PAC, the ADOS Illinois Equity PAC, and you can help and donate to that as well by going to Illinois ADOS Equity.org, Illinois ADOS Equity PAC.org, and I'm sorry, Illinois ADOS Equity.org. So these are our sites here. And so if you're in the state of Illinois and you are acquainted with ADOS, but you haven't necessarily become a member, remember what I said at the beginning of the presentation. We are working on a national structure. So if you are affiliated or you are adjacent to ADOS and you want to make sure you're in the mix when the national headquarters pop off and make sure you're part of history, go ahead and shoot me an email at marlon@adoschcago.org. That's MARLON@adoschcago.org. And let me get you into ADOS Chcago. Get you officially in. Get your membership paid. The membership is $500, but for y'all it's $50 only today. No, I'm just kidding. It's always $50 for the year. You get a certificate and all that cool stuff, and we can fully inculcate you into the ADOS Chcago chapter and the culture. And once the national movement jumps off, you can say, I was there when ADOS National happened, and I was a member. We get you your membership card and all that cool stuff. So reach out to us. Email me or go to inbox me here on Facebook or drop me your email in the chat, and let's get you hooked up. Let's get you ADOS qualified or ADOS chapter qualified. And if you're in the state of Illinois and you may be in a different city and you want to link up with ADOS Chcago, that's cool. But if you want to start a chapter out in your city, hit us up. We can help you. We got all the tools and all that. We can get you started. Or if you are ADOS in another city and you want to know where to go, who to talk to, let me know. I'll reach out and find somebody for you. Okay? So that's the presentation. We appreciate you. Go to these sites. Go sign that petition at itsheartbeingblack.info. Help make violence and health crisis in Illinois, and help us with reparations. And again, shoot us a donation so we can keep doing what we do. We appreciate you. We love you. And thank you for joining us. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen here. Come on back live with y'all for a second. All right, so that was the presentation. We appreciate you guys. Let us know. Let hook up with us. Bob Sanders, what's up, brother? We got to get you all the way in, brother. We got to get you. Just hit, I think I got your number still. I'll reach out to you. I'll text you. We could link up this week, man. Get you all the way in ADOS Chcago. We got to get everybody shored up. Thank you, Nehemiah. I'm glad you liked the presentation. I kind of rushed through the end of it, but you can go to our YouTube page. If you're already on our YouTube page, rather, you can go through the archives and see it recorded a few times. And we try to do this every week, but if I can't get to it, it won't get done. But we're training other people to be able to do it, so it'll be done consistently. So you'll see me do it, and eventually you'll see other folks in Chicago doing it as well. So again, thank you for your time. We appreciate you. If you have any other questions, it's 7:27. I'll stay on here to 7:30, and I can answer questions for you. If not, we can just talk for a few minutes. So, and again, like I said earlier, we did a press conference today in front of the governor's office outside in the cold. It was freezing out there, but we was out there and did what we had to do. And I couldn't record it on my phone live because my phone had died. So if they aired it, it would be on Channel 9, WGN, if you're in the city of Chcago. So look at WGN. They said it may air at 5. So if it aired at 5, we missed it. But if it didn't, they said it may air at 9. So check out WGN at 9 o'clock, see if they air it. check us out. Kevin, yeah, man, we're looking forward to you joining, brother. Shoot me that email. Bob Sanders, you need the Chicago charts, bro. I got the whole presentation for you, man. I can email it to you, but we got all kind of charts. Matter of fact, I need to get you into our Teams platform. We got a lot of our resources there, so you can check it out and do what share it and do what you need to do. Matter of fact, brother, we talked on the phone before, so I know you got a little script, so we need to get you in here and get you to doing this presentation, man. Bob Sanders, brother, you need to do this presentation. Mona, I see you in there. We need to get you to do it, Mona. We need to get you to do it. We need to get some other people doing this presentation so we can, because I try to do it every Sunday, but if I can't do it, it don't get done. So we need to get some more folks trained so folks can handle their business and we can rotate it and rotate it around and get it done. All right, Bob, you said for sure. Okay, brother. All right, we're gonna be looking for you, man. You might be the next one up doing this presentation, bro. So, and the thing is with ADOS, this is how we build it, man. We were doing it in actual facilities, churches and libraries before, and it was growing. But we got to do it online. We got to do it virtually now. So when you do your own presentation, Bob and Mona and Lionel and Kevin, your friends and family start to come watch the presentation, and that's how you grow ADOS. That's how you grow ADOS. All right, I see your email there, bro. I'll shoot you an email. That's how we grow on ADOS today. It's all virtual. You can shoot your friends an email or text message and tell them, hey, I'm doing a presentation. Come check it out. I think you might like it. Tell them it don't cost you no money and I ain't selling you nothing. It has to do with politics. I want you to take a look at it. And if you say you're doing it, guess what? Sometimes your friends gonna come check you out and you're gonna grow ADOS. And you'll be surprised how many people see this presentation. Oh, Bob, I'm sorry, you said not the presentation. You were saying for sure to the charts. No, brother, no, it's the presentation, dog. You got to do the presentation. Anthony Moore says the press conference is on Cynthia's Facebook page. Is that the press? Did she get it from WGN or is that the one she recorded on her phone? So if you want to see whichever he's talking about, you can go to Cynthia McDonald's Facebook page and you can see it there. So, but anyway, that's how we grow ADOS now. We can't meet in person. So we got to do it friend to friend, cousin to cousin, brother to brother. Send out texts, email, Facebook messages, and tell them to come check the presentation out. Once they see it, you'll be surprised at how many people see this and they've never seen it before. And because of the information, it just blows their mind and they want to join. Matter of fact, Mona said she invited someone to listen, and it brought tears to their eyes when they found out they had a tribe. Remember that, Mona? So you'd be surprised, man. Bob, you said you're not photogenic. Me neither, man. I ain't photogenic. You ain't looking at me when you're doing the presentation. You ain't got to come back live after the presentation. You can just do the presentation and get on out the way, man. Yeah. So that's the presentation, y'all. But yeah, Mona, you said absolutely. Yeah, she invited someone to the presentation and they was blown away. They couldn't believe, what they had heard, and they were emotional. They brought tears to their eyes, and they found out that they are ADOS. They never knew it. They knew it was something. They knew something wasn't right, but when they heard this presentation, they said, "Oh wow, I'm ADOS." So the information is powerful. You don't have to sell it. Just tell it. Don't sell it. Just tell it. Just tell the story. And that's how we got to grow, man, until we get done with this COVID thing. But once we get COVID under control, when they let ADOS Chcago back out, oh, y'all can forget it. When they let ADOS back out the house, oh, man. Don't let it be around the summertime or the spring. Oh, man. Y'all can cancel Christmas. We're going to take Chcago. So that's the presentation, guys. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Nafi says, hello, Chicago ADOS. What's up? What's up? If I'm pronouncing your name wrong, forgive me. If you want to join ADOS Chcago, shoot us an email. As a matter of fact, let me put my email below. marlon@adoschcago.org. Shoot us an email or go to inboxes here and tell us you want to join, and we can get you hooked up or if you're in another state, tell us where, and we can find somebody out there for you. Okay. So again, guys, that's the presentation. Appreciate you, love you, and we'll see you next time. Peace.